better stop and listen, 'cause it's time for Good Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be alright.
Hey y'all, Editing M here. Just wanted to pop in really quick to say that this episode contains discussion of abuse, unhealthy roommate dynamics, potentially upsetting conversations, so I want to reiterate our shout out from last episode to TNLR, the Network LaRed, who is a domestic violence, domestic abuse focused organization by survivors for survivors that have a bunch of different programs and resources, including a hotline, if anyone listening to this thinks that they could be helped by those services. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the Good Sports Podcast, the home of mental breakdowns, the home of relationship breakdowns, the home of craziness. My name is Hayes.
I'm M. And how have I had a better week than you when I haven't seen another person the entire time? I've been in my house by myself, occasionally going on walks, since Monday. How have I had better experiences this week than you?
You have had a better mental health experience than me in every way this week. It's been fucking rough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that when someone you love is in an abusive relationship, starting off light,
for sure,
on our comedy podcast, it's incredibly hard to deal with them also treating you abusively.
Yeah.
Because you want to say, oh my god, they would never act like this if they weren't dealing with manipulation and abuse from their partner. But you still have to hold your boundaries.
For sure.
And acknowledge that it doesn't matter always where the behavior is coming from. What matters is how it affects you. So last night, after this confrontation where my partner threatened to, quote, make my life hell if I tried to leave them. Yeah, go ahead.
Bad start.
I just felt like I needed to get out of the house. I felt like I needed to be around people, but I couldn't be at home.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going out dancing. And I saw that this club near my house was having a reggaeton night.
Okay.
And I was like, this is fate. This is perfect, right? I show up to this place. It is not reggaeton night.
Why did you think it was?
You're gonna find this hilarious.
Okay.
I don't really use Instagram anymore.
Okay.
So I just looked up the name of the club and clicked on the first one that came up and clicked on their story, which is where I saw the reggaeton night. And then...
Was it yesterday?
It's worse. When I got to the club, I looked at it and I realized that a bunch of the stuff on the poster was in French. And...
Okay.
I realized that I was looking at a club of the same name in France.
Wow. No reggaeton for you.
You know what's really sad is I think the reason why I didn't question it is I saw it was in a foreign language and just assumed it was Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense that this poster wouldn't be in English. I don't need to look further.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to investigate further. I'm just gonna show up. So I show up, I immediately walk in, and I'm like, this does not sound... They're playing, like, new wave 80s goth, I will say is generally not something I would see myself dancing to.
Yeah, it's a vibe for sure, but it's not super dance club.
Yeah, I guess I was like, I never would have pictured this being danced to by anyone. But people were really out on the floor shaking it. I know that you, when you lived in Boston, you kind of just like didn't really do anything or talk to anyone or go anywhere. But in case you don't know, in Boston, weirdly, like people don't really dance when they go out. They kind of like go out and sit around and drink and get drunk and then they go home.
Yes.
In Florida, where I'm from, people dance. They go out to dance. I say drinking is optional, but I feel like people do get shwasted.
So the people I know who would go out on purpose to dance were just taking a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Like, the point was not the dancing, the point was the drugs, which made the dancing better. Most of the people I know, when they went out drinking or when I went out drinking, it wasn't for dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, I also don't like people close to me, so my experience is not universal.
Yeah. I will say that people were very respectful of my space. I feel like sometimes in certain nightclubs, like you get groped. People are constantly constantly pushing you, shoving you. They're not respectful of the space. I was able to just stay in one spot in the center of the dance floor, do my fucking thing. There were other people who were doing fancier dance moves and they were given a wide berth. People were extremely respectful.
Oh, that's good.
I think I got brushed up against one time, which is crazy. It was crowded. People were just very conscious. There was multiple people who were masking. It felt like a very queer space. It was a predominantly white space, as you can probably guess from the vibe of the music choice, but there were other POC there, and I felt it was a safe, and the bartenders were so friendly. They were very nice.
Slay.
And I feel like I made flirty eye contact with some people, and at first I was like, why is no one coming up to me and talking to me? And then I realized that people don't usually come up and talk to random men.
Yeah, the onus has shifted to you to be the person initiating.
And then I was like, do I really want to talk to new people? Do I really want to have a shouting conversation over The Cure? No. I'm just gonna dance. So then they played Girls Just Want to Have Fun. They also played Prince. I've never thought I would dance to Prince's When Doves Cry, but everyone was dancing. It was very interesting.
Slay.
Yeah, Pussy Slay. It was a fun night, and I feel like I had a breakthrough, like an emotional breakthrough. I don't advise our listeners to get drunk when they're upset.
No.
But I do feel like it helped me to shake off my frozen trauma response and to kind of break out of that and to realize what was going on in my body.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get drunk to do that, but for me, I don't even think it was necessarily drinking. I think it was just being around a bunch of people and feeling free.
Radically altering the state of your body in the world can do a lot to break up those things. I'm sure also the exercise of dancing, the endorphins from that,
Yeah.
the feeling of being community with other people, the music, etc., is all radically different from the experience you just came from. So that can be enough to shake up your perception on top of the drinking.
Yes, that's very astute, and I think that's what was going on. It was out of my routine. It was out of my environment. I feel like that's what I needed. I also very rarely drink at all. I mean, that was also out of my norm, and I think I just needed to shake out of the norm, and I felt like I followed that instinct, and I had like kind of an emotional breakthrough when I got home of like, the reason my body doesn't feel safe is because it isn't. And I should listen to my body telling me that it feels unsafe and that it feels there are unhealthy things that are really deeply affecting me. I made the decision to reach out to the couples therapist we've been seeing and share with them the situation and basically say, I really don't think that couples therapy is helping. I don't know that I want to continue because of this incident and behavior. Yeah. Because I don't think that couples therapy is the place to address abuse and control in relationships.
I agree. I also think that the couples therapist might have resources for you going forward.
Yes.
Even if they're not the person who can help you, like, in a therapist context, they will probably have resources, because I'm sure you're not the first person they've seen who has been a part of unhealthy dynamics in that way. And I'm sure that the couples therapist can point you in a direction.
Absolutely. And I'm also considering if I want to ask this person to be my individual therapist. I know they also offer individual therapy as well as couples therapy.
Do you have an individual therapist?
That's the problem, is I would have to dump my current therapist. And I do like her. I just feel like this person is a trans person, the couples therapist, and I feel there's a level of affinity that I feel and safety that I feel in that dynamic. And also this person has like witnessed firsthand some of the communication failures and issues with this main relationship in my life and has this firsthand knowledge. So I am like, okay, what if I switch therapists to this new person who is seeing us as a couple? I'm gonna think about it. I do like my current therapist, but I do feel like sometimes she doesn't necessarily challenge my worldview, or she doesn't challenge my view on situations. And I guess I'm more of a tough love type of person when it comes to therapy.
I see.
That's what I need. I don't know about you. I don't even know if you're in therapy, but when you've been in therapy.
I have been in therapy essentially continuously from the age of 10 until 20... How old am I? 23.
That's crazy.
So for about 13 years.
That's a lot of therapy. Perhaps too much.
Well, so it started because my parents got divorced. So me and my brother were in like children's therapy. And then I had a year off. And then I had a bad time. And then I was in therapy basically continuously until I was 23, starting in 7th grade. And I've had several therapists. I'm not in therapy now. I don't want to be in therapy.
Interesting.
It doesn't...
Slay. Just kidding.
With the amount of therapy that I've had, and my approach to therapy is like, there's not much I can learn from therapy at this point in my life. The problem for the past few years had been that I needed drugs, and there was nothing therapy could do for me without drugs.
And therapy will never replace that.
Yeah.
And drugs will never replace therapy if that's what you need. Same vice versa.
And so I probably didn't need to be in therapy right up until I moved.
Yeah.
But it was useful to have a therapist to navigate the moving stress and to have someone outside of my immediate family to help me process the feelings of moving away from my immediate family. But I'm over therapy for myself.
No, I totally understand that feeling, and I think especially when things are more stable, it's not always needed if you already have the tools. What are they going to teach me? A breathing exercise? I already know how to do that.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
And I also have been engaging more with criticisms of psychology and psychiatry as fields of study that have made me more critical of like what a therapist could do for me in my life right now. And if circumstances change, that can change.
Yeah, totally.
But for right now, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Going back to the tough love thing, I had a pretty bad experience with a therapist early on that have made me wary of that. And also, like, I'm very high functioning even if things are actively falling apart. Like, things need to get to an insanely intense degree before I start underperforming, even if I'm actively miserable. And therapists can have a very difficult time with that, especially the quote-unquote tougher ones. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience where, especially with a new therapist, you go and they're like, I don't understand why you need therapy. Like, you seem to be doing fine. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing fine. Why would I be here? Just because I'm able to mask my emotions, you know, because I don't know you.
If you connect with a therapist, then that's a good instinct to follow, especially if you're not feeling super fulfilled with your current therapist.
I think I need to put aside worrying about hurting her feelings.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I think that's just part of her job is this person found someone who's a better fit. That's the best thing for them. I have other clients I can see. It's not like she's not busy. She's booked up a lot of the time. This other person is like starting an individual practice, so they just have more evening times available too. So it's also a scheduling thing. And they also see people on weekends as well, and that's very useful for me. So I'm definitely heavily considering it. I mean, there's also the possibility they may say, I can't see you individually because I've seen you as a couple, and I could see that making sense. But here's the thing, my current therapist used to be me and Abby's couples therapist.
You're just collecting.
I'm collecting them. But I do think that was a very valuable experience because couples therapy with Abby felt like we were both participating. It felt like we were communicating. It felt like we were working things out. It felt like when I spoke, I was able to be heard. Not feeling that now. Not feeling like that now. Every time there's anything remotely negative said about her behavior, words, or choices, it's, well, I can't say anything. You're so sensitive.
That feels like the wrong approach to be going into a relationship you want to make work, especially in therapy.
I mean, she expressed she doesn't care if we're partners or not. I'm like, great, let's dissolve our domestic partnership.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be held responsible for you in any way if you don't care or not. So I don't want to live with her. Our relationship is over. Anyway, I made a list of topics to talk about.
Okay.
So that I wouldn't talk about this.
I have a potential new segment idea I'm going to pitch to you
Ooh.
live as we're recording.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
One of the facts about me, for our listeners who may or may not know, is that I'm autistic. And if that hasn't come up by now, or if you haven't put the pieces together, congrats on this being your first day on Earth.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
And ever since middle school, I've been a huge fan of the television program, and I'm not going to say the name, but it's one of the classic autistic television programs, and I'm wondering if you guys can guess it.
So it's Doctor Who.
That's the one. You got it in one.
Supernatural. Oh, I got it on the first fucking try. Oh, yes.
So the show started in 1963, and it's been producing media in various mediums since 1963, basically continuously. The television show, books, comic strips, audio dramas, etc. But I've never really been into the expanded media, only really watched the show.
Mm-hmm. The new version of the show, right?
No, the old one.
Oh.
So when I was in middle school, my friends, or people who ran in the same circles with me but bullied me, were really into the new show. But I was too autistic for the weird nerd people. I was really into the old show.
I'm sorry, but the fact that you got bullied by people who watch Doctor Who is probably the saddest thing. Of all the things you couldn't pay me to repeat in public, that is...
Well, I'm friends with these people now.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
As my segment pitch, I present the plots of 3 real pieces of media that I've engaged with. Probably not TV episodes, and 1 fake one. And you try to guess which one's the fake one.
I try to guess.
Yes.
Or the audience. Okay.
Either you can try to guess, or we let it be to the audience and then reveal the answer on the next week's.
Ooh, okay. Well, now I want to guess. Why don't you pitch the plots to me? And then I'll guess, but then you won't reveal, like, we'll cut out the part where you reveal the answer, and then we'll reveal it next week. So we can kind of do a hybrid approach. Okay.
I have them off the brain. My concern is that because some of them are real, and one is the one that I made up, it might be very obvious based on the level of detail which is the one I made up. But we'll workshop.
You should, like, make a script so they all have the same level of detail.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I won't be able to tell.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Plot number 1. The Doctor lands in a space museum, and he and his companions are put on display as museum exhibits by space aliens, and as part of this, they are cryogenically frozen. Due to the stress of his body of being cryogenically unfrozen, the Doctor starts to gestate an egg.
Mpreg?
Plot number 2.
Where does the egg... Wait, okay. I'm not allowed to ask follow-up questions. I'm getting that. Okay, go on to number 2.
What's the follow-up question?
The follow-up question is where the fuck did the egg come from? But I also understand that me asking follow-up questions might give away the answer to which one is fake, so...
Time Lords, which is what the Doctor is, are not humans, so it's not human biology, and also, eggs don't have to be fertilized.
Okay.
Chicken eggs you buy at the store are not fertilized.
Okay.
Their bodies might just, like, do that.
Okay, I hope this is a fake one. Go on to number 2.
Number 2, the Doctor lands on a planet where all of the people, like, mutate into monsters really quickly and then unmutate as almost like spasms that they have because they fucked around too hard with their biology. And in order to save the species, he is given a crate full of literal fetuses that already look like babies in test tubes to try to save the species. And as soon as he takes them away from the world, they all die.
It's fucking stupid. That does sound like the type of dumb, oh, we're really having a deeper lesson. Okay, go on to number 3. I'm ready.
Number 3. On the bow of the Santa Maria, one of Chris Columbus's ships, one of the Doctor's companions suicide baits the Doctor because she's trying to convince him that he would actually rescue her if she was in danger, despite the fact that he said that he wouldn't. And the wind blows, and then she falls into the ocean.
Who is it that falls into the ocean?
The companion.
Oh my god. Well, that also sounds realistic because they love the damsel in distress, the companion in distress. I mean, I have seen a couple episodes of this show.
Yeah.
None of these sound remotely familiar, though. So, you know what? I really hope that the egg thing is false. And if I live in a world where it's true, I don't know that I want to continue that. So I'm going to go with the first one is fake because that's what I need to be true.
Now it's your turn, audience. What do you think? Do you agree with Hayes? Do you disagree? Let us know. Leave us a comment, leave us a review, pop in our Tumblr Ask box, and pop back in next week for us to reveal the answer. And now, back to the show. I've gotten back into it because I've found out about this website that's made for autistic people. That's Letterboxd, but if it was just for Doctor Who.
Oh my god, you people. I don't understand. But we already have Letterboxd. Why do you need your own thing?
There isn't Letterboxd for the short stories, all the comic strips, the Give a Show projector slides that were distributed for a niche children's toy in 1966.
Okay, follow-up question. Do they have this for Star Trek?
Probably.
Because if they do, I could understand and want to join it as a hypocritical statement.
Probably. Although, Star Trek, the books are kind of bad, at least in my experience.
I mean, they're so bad they're good.
The problem is, like, with a so bad they're good, and then cataloging so you finish all of them, I feel like it wears off. Part of what I like about the Star Trek TV show is that when it's bad in very interesting ways that reveal interesting things about the people who wrote them and their views of the world.
Yeah. You don't feel like that's true for the books?
I didn't get that from the books.
Interesting. Well, there's so many books.
That's true.
And some of them are better than others. I have one on my... Anyway, it's one of the... Picard gets hypnotized and kidnapped. They love doing that. And I love it too. I love it. It's my favorite TNG trope. I know it's in other series as well, but I just specifically like it when Picard is the one who is getting kidnapped and or hypnotized or becoming evil.
I can't believe we haven't talked about Star Trek on the pod yet. Which ones have you seen and which one's your favorite?
I have seen all of TNG. I have seen some of DS9. I've seen very little of Voyager. And I have not seen the original series. And I don't know that I'm super interested.
I would say there's like 5 or 6 episodes of the original series that are strong recommends.
That's what I've heard.
And then the rest of it is like voluntarily experiencing a microaggression.
Yeah. So I have not done that. But I've also seen Starfleet Academy, the new series that's coming out that everyone hates, that I love.
The one that got canceled, like, immediately.
Did it get canceled?
Or they didn't renew it.
No, it's been canceled. Oh, okay. It's no. It's ending after its second season. It's getting a second season. At least we're getting 2 seasons. Maybe they'll change their mind. I don't know. I love the main characters. I love those plot lines. I love the vibe. It's so unique. I love how it's like college. Mm-hmm. We don't really get a lot of college TV shows, especially in a sci-fi Star Trek world. Mm-hmm. And it's like all the good things about a high school drama, but they're actually adults and it's not as weird. And there's just like a bigger variety of experiences the characters can have too because they're adults, you know? I'm gonna get canceled for saying that, but people are hating hard and they're like, the dialogue is bad. I'm like, it's Star Trek.
Yeah.
Of course the dialogue is bad, honey. When has it ever been good? I mean, there's some DS9.
I was gonna say, I think Deep Space Nine is one of my top 2 television series of all time in terms of like objective quality.
That's my next thing that I'm gonna watch from start to finish is DS9.
Heavy recommend. Very big fan. Season 1 is bad, but ignore that.
That's fine. I expect it to be bad. And it's Star Trek. The ways that it's bad, I'm probably gonna like at least a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
It's very charming.
It's just endearing. And it also has characters from TNG that I really like. Like, I heard Worf is gonna be there.
Season 4 onward, yes.
And Brian is a more main character in DS9. I have seen a few of the O'Brien episodes because there are people in my home who have O'Brien obsession. So
I hate O'Brien so much.
I feel neutral.
Specifically the fandom interpretation of O'Brien. In the show, he's just a misogynist.
Okay.
He kind of hates his wife.
I've noticed that.
He never like calls her a bitch or anything, but he just does not like his wife. And he would much rather hang with the boys. But the fandom interpretation is that he and his main boy are gay together and his wife is a supporter of this.
Interesting.
And not acknowledging really the misogyny of it all. And I hate him, and I think he sucks, and I think he should die.
Wow, that's a very strong O'Brien hate. I know people who would fight you to the death over that statement.
And I'd win because they're weak, because they like O'Brien.
You heard it here on the pod. If you like O'Brien, you're weak, apparently. I don't have as strong an opinion either way. I think he's just some guy. I don't really get why people are obsessed with him. I think there's other characters who are 1,000 times more interesting. Like, I love Data. I love Worf. I love Geordi. I love Picard. I love Deanna. Riker, nah.
I could take or leave Riker.
I could take or leave him, but I don't hate him. You know? 2
of my past Tumblr URL were Data Kinney, which was the Tumblr URL I had when Will and I met, and then I changed it to Worf's Autism.
Oh my god. That makes sense.
Because most of the Klingons are fairly chill, he just has space autism.
He does.
Yeah.
He's less chill than other Klingons, but I feel like I just relate to Worf so much. He is a amazing representation and discussion of people of color who were raised by white people or mixed race people like myself who are raised by white people. And I feel like that is representation that I almost never see ever. I feel like only now are we kind of starting to have a little more conversation around cross-racial, cross-cultural adoption that frankly we were not having. And that was way before that. And Star Trek has addressed so many amazing, I mean, this is becoming a Star Trek episode.
It was a Doctor Who episode a while ago.
That's true. Well, can I quickly get into my list here? I have a few things to share before I go.
Yeah, go for it.
My friend FK has this schema that I find interesting of who's in your hot tub. And I want to preface this with it does not mean sexual. I understand you're asexual, so I guess it could be whatever the asexual equivalent of a hot tub is. Maybe like a sensory ball pit. Who's in your sensory ball pit? You have to pick only people who will fit in a hot tub. Who is in that hot tub? It could be anybody.
I've never been in a hot tub before. I don't know how big they are.
Oh my god, I feel so bad for you. You've never seen a picture of a hot tub? Okay, between 3 to maximum 6 people besides yourself.
And we're just sitting there?
You are sitting in an intimate hot tub and you can pick anyone to be in your hot tub.
Okay, you go first. I need to understand what this is.
Okay, Hayley Williams.
Okay, I understand what this is.
Abigail Thorne.
Okay.
You understand what this is?
Yup.
Okay. Wild card, Ronald Reagan, so we can kill him.
Okay.
And maybe Bob the Drag Queen for fun.
All right.
And you know what? Cher. That's it. That's my hot tub.
Okay, interesting.
What a crazy hot tub that would be.
I don't think I would ever go in a hot tub. The more I think about this, the more...
Okay, well, I'm like, whatever the asexual equivalent of a hot tub is. What is that for you?
But hot tubs are not inherently sexual experiences.
No.
I'm just a freak about being around people.
So there's nobody from history that you would like to hang out with?
Well, so the person from history who I would most want to hang out with, until recently, is Stephen Hawking. But he's in the Epstein files in a major way.
Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
Is in the Epstein files?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know this. Wow, damn.
I no longer want to do that.
That's good. You would have Stephen Hawking in your hot tub, but he's now banned from the tub.
He's now banned from everything because of that. I liked all of the books he wrote. I liked the tone. I found them interesting, and I really resonated with the way he talked about being disabled, especially when I was young and trans and closeted, because I conceived of being trans as a disability and as something I had to deal with, and he was really impactful for me for that.
Yeah.
Turns out he sucks.
That's so interesting, is seeing transness as a disability. Yeah. I guess I'm surprised. I did hear some things that maybe he was really shitty to his wife.
Yes, I've heard that.
Or ex-wife, but I didn't realize it went, I guess, that deep. So that is horrible.
Part of the appeal of heroes is you don't meet them, and you never find out too much about what makes them messy.
Well, that's why I like my hot tub, because nobody in there is a hero to me, except maybe Abigail Thorne.
Okay.
But I also feel like I could conceive of her as a real person and not feel like I'm putting her on a pedestal. And everyone else in there is just more people that I am fascinated by, that I want to get to know, except for Ronald Reagan. That's just someone I want to kill.
Okay.
We can all kill him together, and I think it would be hot. The hot tub water runs red with Ronald Reagan's blood.
I mean, if I have to come up with someone who's alive or who's interesting to me, I think the drag queen Katya is very interesting to me. I've been rewatching recently.
Katya. Yes.
She has a persona that I think is very interesting.
Yes. Okay, that's exciting. I love their podcast. I've been watching clips of their podcast that are compiled, and not just clips from the podcast, but also clips from and clips from all their different Trixie and Katya. Or
yeah.
You're more into Katya, you're not as much into Trixie.
This is a recommendation for anyone listening. Finish this episode and then type into the YouTube search bar, Trixie and Katya roast Amelia Perez. It's just a 20-minute YouTube video of them ripping into this god-awful movie.
Oh, yes.
Compiled over the course of several weeks. Makes me very happy.
I forgot. Is this the movie that's like, vaginoplasty?
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
The horrid trans movie? Yeah.
Okay, we all kind of forgot about that for a while. And you know what? I need comfort videos right now, so I will be going to watch this after this.
The thing that made me start my rewatch is I saw a screenshot of Katya in Lindsey Graham's Twitter replies just ripping into him, and I hate it when straight people do homophobia to Lindsey Graham.
But
I think Katya is one of the only people on this earth who gets to make fun of Lindsey Graham for being gay and closeted about it.
I love that so much. So on a final note, while drunk last night, I made a horrible decision and I reinstalled Lex. And I'd like to share with you the first post that I saw on there.
That then made you uninstall Lex and you're free?
I have a screenshot of it because I immediately uninstalled the app again.
Amazing. This story has a good ending, no matter what it is you're about to tell me.
Worcester, Massachusetts. In search of drinking white females. I've been drunk, but I've never been wasted. I just don't believe it's possible. But then it hit me. I'm black, in all caps. I've never been drunk for real, all caps. I'm looking for 5+ white girls to drink with and see if being drunk versus wasted is real. Hit me with your pop secret moonshine recipe. 50 likes.
I'm speechless.
Immediately uninstalled the app. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's up with you. I don't know why people are responding to this. Is this something, is this a reference?
People were responding?
Yes. People are hearting it.
I'm flabbergasted.
Every time I go back to this app, it is more busted and fucked up than it was before. More than I could ever have dreamed. Why do you need 5+ white girls to drink with? Can't you just drink with whoever? Why does it have to be 5+ white girls?
That's so strange.
I just wanted to respond so badly and be like, what? Just like, what? As a response? And then I was like, no. No, this is going to get me into yet another internet fight. And you know what's funny is I logged back into my account and I saw a message from someone who was involved in the drama from before. And they were like, I know you left, but all the drama is coming back again in that same hookup community that you left. And I saw that person had deleted their account.
Get out. Be free.
Yeah, I did. I think in my drunken state, I was like, let me reinstall this app to see if anyone I made flirty eye contact with at the club was like posting a misconnection for me. I don't know why. That was what my first thought was to do.
You really haven't figured out how to initiate contact with strangers then. Because you're like, okay, I'm at the bar. I'm at the club. No one's coming up to me. Fuck, do I have to do this myself? No, it can't be that. Okay, let me see if anyone's doing the digital equivalent of coming up to me.
And, like, there were multiple people that were making extremely obvious. There was one girl who was shaking her ass in my direction, and then she, like, spun around and did finger guns and winked at me, and I still didn't approach her.
Dog.
So...
You're like, no one's coming up to me.
No one's coming up to me, blatantly gets flirted with.
This person was 3 physical steps away from coming up to you. Not 3 steps as in there are 3 things she needed to do. 3 physical steps in the human world.
Yeah. I would actually say less than. She was, like, almost touching me. I could have reached out, you know? I
think you were approached.
The difference of approaching, it's different now. So that is how men are approached. No one actually speaks to you. But that was a pretty obvious approach.
Yes. Correct.
I see you now. And of course, then later I was like, man, I really should have talked to her. And then I look around and she's been gone for like an hour. Mm-hmm. So, but it's whatever. In the club, we're all fam. So it would have been incestuous anyway.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
And on that note...
Any shout-outs? Any anti-shout-outs?
I would like to give a huge anti-shout-out to the Catholic Church.
I want to give an anti-shout-out to the concept of final exams and a week-long break before my final exams. I've been alone in my apartment for a week, studying for my final exams.
Ew.
Anti-shout-out to the whole thing.
Anti-shout-out to the concept of tests and exams. RIP Hampshire College.
I've been in my apartment studying for my exams, reading about MK Ultra and Charles Manson.
Have you heard the Behind the Bastards podcast on MK Ultra?
I have not.
I will send it to you.
I'm not a huge Behind the Bastards fan, to be honest.
But you have to listen to this because it's extremely good. It goes into extreme detail about MK Ultra, and it also has one of my favorite authors as the guest. So
okay, anti-shout out to the CIA.
Okay, signing off. Bye.
Bye.
Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be. be alright.
Hey y'all, Editing M here again. Just popping in to say that this episode is a bit on the short side, so as some bonus content, I'm leaving a conversation Hayes and I recorded a week before the episode you just listened to. Unfortunately, my microphone had some pretty severe audio issues, and it wasn't up to our usual standard, so we didn't want to release it as a standalone episode. If you want to give it a listen, here it is. If you don't, that's totally fine. Without further ado, here's that episode. Before we started recording, Hayes commented on this. I got a pretty sizable haircut.
It looks great.
I will pass it on to Will because he's the one who did it. So it was down to my shoulders, and the haircut involved like a razor on the longest setting.
Let me see the back. Turn around. Okay.
There's a little bit of sussy stuff going on the side, and there's definitely a line.
Yeah, the video quality is so low that to me, I can't even see it. So I give it an A+.
I have an antenna if I'm not careful when I get out of the shower, but...
Aw, your little cow lick.
Yeah. Anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I think I need to do something drastic. I'm going through it, and what every gay person who's going through it thinks is, maybe I should shave my head.
Or eyebrows. You could have gone eyebrows. Both.
So, I'm now taking a different tangent. When I was in high school, before I got my, big haircut, my big trans guy haircut, my hair was also, shoulder length at the time, I was literally having recurring fantasies of just hacking my hair off with scissors and then shaving the rest of it and shaving my eyebrows.
What is it about the eyebrows?
I don't know.
For trans people. I
still have, persistent fantasies of shaving my eyebrows.
I know. That's why I said it. It's not just you. It's a thing. It's not just trans guys either. It's also trans girls.
Yes.
I've seen those freaks.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I've seen them out here with their eyebrows. Both sides.
Oh, yeah.
And non-binary. It's a trans thing through and through, and I don't know what it is. And you know how they found in the brain that people who have foot fetishes have a certain trigger in their brain that's different from other people's brains? I feel like for trans people, there's something in there about our eyebrows. They're going to find it one day.
I think it's to disrupt the flow of the face. People are very good at finding faces everywhere, but if it looks less like a face, it's more difficult to gender. And so disrupting what a face looks like can help, at least to me, when I've thought about it, I've been okay, well, it helps me detach my face from traditional gender situation.
They say eyes are the window to the soul, but I think eyebrows kind of more, because eyebrows are so gendered. If you have thick, bushy eyebrows, your whole face is going to look more masculine.
Yeah.
If you have thin, wispy eyebrows, you're going to look like a freak.
So I've always had very thick eyebrows, and when I was in middle school,
same.
I got the lovely unibrow.
Oh yeah.
And I still am if I could just shave the whole eyebrow, I wouldn't have to deal with it.
I feel like if Luigi can have a unibrow, I should be able to have a unibrow. I rest my case.
He has a different gender presentation than what I want to be having.
I could see that. He's kind of got a boyish masculinity.
Yeah.
He's a mischievous little guy. I feel like I relate to that.
I feel like I'm over having a boyish masculinity.
That sucks for you as a trans guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably why I'm over it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so far removed from what I would like my gender to be because it's just not a possibility right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm just so much well, it doesn't matter what I want. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were telling me about Will coming to visit.
Yes. So a couple months ago, I was I need to shave my head. And also, it's been getting warmer here. It's been in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And, and I don't want to be dealing with my hair all the time.
Totally.
I'm a gay person having a crisis. I might as well just shave the whole head. And Will was okay, you can bring apparently a battery-powered razor on an airplane. He brought his razor, and he was showing it to me, and he was okay, this is the longest I can make it. I'm going to start with the sides, and then you tell me if you want me to do the top. And he did the sides, and then my hair on top was still super long, and I was no, I don't want you to shave. I still wanted to get my hair cut, but I was I don't need my head shaved.
Okay, so you didn't want it shaved down.
Yes.
Okay.
I was I want it shorter. I definitely want a haircut, but I don't think I want to shave my head. And so he was okay, do you have scissors? And I was well, when I moved to Europe, I brought with me the only size of scissors you're allowed to bring on an airplane, which is if the blades are less than 5 centimeters, which is 2 inches.
Oh my god.
I think it's 5, maybe 6. So
that's incredibly small.
I had scissors stolen from my elementary school.
That you attended as a kid?
Yes.
How do you still have those?
Well, because I stole a bunch, my brother stole a bunch, and they've just been kicking around.
What the hell is wrong with you? Is it just scissors?
Pencil boxes, some books, low key.
Oh my god. You were making out like bandits from the fucking public school. Oh my god.
I dug them out because when I get into crocheting, I was like, I don't need to be carrying around full scissors to just like snip yarn every so often. And so I brought them with me
Yeah.
when I was traveling. And so I was in my bathroom getting my haircut with kids' safety scissors, being like, all right, this might as well happen.
Oh
And
my
then afterward,
god.
Will is like, I think my hair is too long too. You should just shave around like this part of my head.
No. That's where it went off the rails.
It stayed on the rails, but I was scared absolutely shitless because I've never shaved anyone's head before. He was like, I wasn't really
Hmm.
sure. Just take the guard
Oh,
off because he has like longer hair on top
oh my
and then
god.
shorter hair on the side.
He trusts you way too much. I would not trust you to do that.
He was like, it's actually very difficult to hurt someone with this. So here, it's more scared of you than you are of it.
I mean, I'm not scared of you accidentally cutting him. I'm scared of you botching his fucking haircut, and when it's so short, there's nothing to hide.
Well, that's the good thing is it just needed to be off because it was just going to
Okay.
be stuff on the top of the head and then nothing else anyway. And I wasn't touching the stuff on the top of the head. So all I needed to do was take everything else off.
Totally off?
It was like maybe an eighth of an inch.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
What a haircut. That's a gay haircut. My hair is growing into a mullet, and I did not will that to happen. It was shaved all down to the same length, pretty much, maybe a little bit more on top, and then it's just been growing naturally. And just the way that it currently sits is now a mullet. And I'm just like, is that also genetic? That trans and gay people just have a mullet vibe?
I hate having a mullet. I'm like gravitationally attracted to it. I hate having a mullet. I also hate getting haircuts regularly. And so
Yeah.
I just end up there.
Yeah.
And then every time I'm like, I'll just let it grow out long enough so that it's not a pain in the ass anymore. And then it gets to touching my shoulders, and I'm like, actually, I need to cut it off right now.
Or I'm gonna die. Or I'm gonna fucking die. Someone's gonna die. It might be me.
Yeah.
It might be someone else around me. I don't know. But if it's touching my shoulders, someone's gonna fucking die. I feel the same. I'm trying to grow my hair out long enough to have braids. I'm almost there. It's been growing. I feel like I want to get back on tea sooner rather than later. But obviously, I can't right now because I'm going to be trying to conceive a child in my body in the next 3 to 4 months.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, like we went to this. Oh my God, I have to tell you. This is so crazy. So I went to this, me and my partner Eve went to this Fenway Health IUI orientation Zoom call. It was like 3 hours long. And there was one person in the Zoom call who was being so fucking obnoxious. Not the person presenting it. The people presenting it were honestly lovely. They had like a nurse practitioner, OB, GYN type, and then they had a social worker as well, who both worked at Fenway, and they're absolutely fantastic. And, do I feel like this part was necessary? No, but they had a whole part of the presentation. They didn't spend that much time on it where they went over how babies are made inside.
Okay.
And I understand why they did that, because the reality is that not everyone is getting comprehensive sex education. And there are people there who are coming from diverse backgrounds, who may not be from the United States, who may not be from New England. I know I didn't get proper sex education. This is also not the quote unquote typical way that people get pregnant. So I understand why they need to have a little aside where they go over birds and the bees. So this person immediately gets in the chat and starts bitching and complaining that they're going over stuff that I already know. They keep saying, well, all of this information I already knew.
But it's a public conference. It's not a one-on-one.
It's not for you. And then they start going off on this whole rant about how sperm banks are immoral and being mad. And I'm just like,
That's so strange.
here's the thing. I actually tend to agree with this person. However, it's not Fenway's fault because they're not providing the sperm. They do not have anything to do with that. It's kind of a bring your own BYOS type of thing.
We'll circle back to why you think sperm banks are immoral in a second. Continue.
I'm so happy to get into that. But then people are being encouraged to put their questions in the chat so then they can be answered at a specific time. So what happens is they start answering people's medical questions in the chat and they're doing it incorrectly.
God.
And they're also just like really pushing this, like they're like implying that everyone should use this site. It kind of matches you with someone who is a sperm donor who's in your community. It's not like something you purchase from a sperm bank. It's more of just like a matching thing. Like some people want to be sperm donors, but they don't maybe meet the qualifications, or they don't want to go through a sperm bank because it's immoral and shitty. And they would rather just do it between two people. And that's also saves a lot of fucking money.
Right.
But there's also risks to that. So they
Yeah.
shouldn't be just blindly telling people to do it. And so I had asked a question, which is, what would the estimated cost be to ship sperm from California to Massachusetts? And I didn't say, but the reason I'm asking is because my partner is a trans woman who banked her sperm in California. So we have to ship it here because we live here. And I just wanted to know what the general cost would be. And they start replying this whole rant about how it's too overpriced and I shouldn't do that. And I'm just like, you don't know the situation. So I literally responded and I was like, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, we are not you. Everyone in this call has a different family setup. And, you know, I did feel like they were extremely very tailored towards lesbian cisgender couples.
Yeah.
Like, they did use gender neutral language and like birthing parent or gestational parent or whatever. But our particular situation, which for a given is probably not that super common, was never discussed as an option. And it actually like made Eve feel there was a moment of panic because they kept saying, well, if you have a child this way, then, you know, you have to go through an adoption process and that's the only way to secure your parental rights. And I'm sitting here like, that's an incorrect legal advice.
Yeah.
If both parents are biologically related to the child, there's no need for the biological parent to adopt their own kid.
Yeah.
That's not real.
I'm thinking of straight trans couples who have, I'm saying straight as in like a trans masculine person and a trans feminine person.
Yes, yeah.
Regardless of if the two people in the relationship are straight or not, etc. Have a biological kid. A lot of the time that happens without medical, like there's obviously medical intervention and all that. But I'm thinking about some of the like straight trans couples I know or know about. They had the kids like early on in transition. They didn't need as much like medical supervision and the like. Or one or both of the people realize that they're trans after they've popped out the kids.
Because the reality is that, and especially this is more the case for trans women, is that being on HRT long term has some pretty severe effects on fertility. And again, it's more so for trans women necessarily than for trans men, which is something people should be aware of, that they're not, and that they never addressed in this orientation.
Yeah.
At least mention it. At least mention our situation. It did feel a little bit like it was only geared towards a very narrow and specific set of parents. And I get why, because that's probably the demographic that they're dealing with. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's not act like it's not all lesbian. That was very clearly their demographic. So I don't fault them for not including our situation. They may not have even considered our situation, because the reality is most trans people do not do fertility preserving measures before they start their hormones or their transition medically.
I couldn't. It's not covered by insurance.
Exactly.
And like, I started when I was 18. What am I gonna do? Bank my eggs for 12 years? Like,
especially for people assigned female at birth, it's way more difficult. It's way more hard on your body. You have to go onto hormones that are feminizing, that cause you to ovulate more. You have to go through a potentially painful, potentially medically traumatic retrieval procedure. And then you have to pay 10 times as much to store your eggs than you do just store your sperm.
Yeah.
If you are assigned female at birth and you want to start a gender transition medically, your options are pretty fucking limited, and it's not usually covered by insurance.
No, yeah.
And also, it's usually not even presented as an option. And I think part of it is that sometimes doctors just assume either that you'll bring it up if it's something you care about, or they will just assume that because you're trans, you don't want kids.
Yeah.
I've heard from multiple trans people that it's not a discussion that their doctor ever even had, or an option that they knew they even needed.
I think part of this comes from, I don't know specifically about the US's history of it, but there are still places where in order to get your transition legally recognized by the government, you have to be sterilized. And so I think part of it comes from this medical tradition of sterilizing trans people and gatekeeping access to transition behind sterilization on top of what HRT already does.
Yes. The reality is that Eve is 6 or 7 years into being on hormones in her transition.
She's not having a kid if she didn't bank her sperm beforehand.
Exactly. I'm really glad she did. And we were also feeling really anxious at the time that there wouldn't be enough enough. We thought maybe she had like a maximum of 8 samples available. And that's not really a lot because in case it doesn't work right away, you know?
Yeah.
So we were considering, do we have to go straight to IVF? So we called the cryobank and they were like, you have 38 samples. So we were like, oh shit, okay, we're awash with sperm. To go back to the sperm bank issue, I will explain.
So for the record, I have not thought about this a single time, perhaps in my entire life. So I'm interested in learning about what is the deal.
Totally. And until I started this process where I needed sperm, I never thought about it either. I was just like, I'm sure it's normal, right? No, it's not normal.
I've heard about people who are freaks abusing the sperm bank system because they're obsessed with the idea of like dispersing their seed.
Yeah, and that's why they have limits in most states on how many different families. But here's the thing is I think that what you're describing is extremely rare, and what's really true is that there is a financial incentive for people to donate their sperm, and sometimes when there's a financial incentive for donating parts of your body, that can lead to exploitation.
Yeah.
But that's not even the main issue. The main issue I have, and a lot of people have, and this really obnoxious person had, even though the way they expressed that was really annoying. The problem is that the restrictions on who can donate sperm are extremely fucked up.
Oh, okay.
In every state, you have to have a college degree in order to donate sperm.
What the fuck?
And some states have relaxed this, but a lot of states still say if you have ever had sexual contact with another person who is assigned male at birth, you are barred from donating sperm.
I'm not shocked about that.
Even though they test the sperm for all STIs and for any abnormalities, and then they also wash it. So there's really no reason for this. In some states, they've said you can't have had sex with another man in the last 5 years, but there's no state that doesn't have a question like that. Another problem, the thing that bothers me the most of all of this, I mean, I think the college degree thing is really fucked up. Some of them require IQ tests.
I've heard about this. I've also heard that you can't be a felon.
Yes, and sometimes it's like any criminal record, not even just a felony. So that's already fucked up. And because of all of these fucked up restrictions, and because of the history of experimenting on people of color, the amount of sperm donors who are people of color is 3% of all. And of that 3%, the amount that are black is less than 1%. So what ends up happening is that if you want a non-white sperm donor, which I would, you have to stalk the website and just like hit refresh. And then when a donor comes up that matches the ethnicity that you want or need, you have to buy all of it. And it could be tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
And it creates a huge issue. Sometimes you have white parents who go after sperm of different ethnicities for whatever fucked up reason and buy it up. Again, some places have systems in place where if you are a couple where at least one of you is a person of color, you will get priority.
Right.
But that's not guaranteed. It all comes down how many tens of thousands of dollars do you have, basically, because it'll all get bought up. You don't get any. That's kind of what led to us having the discussion. Eve was like, I don't know why we would pay for sperm when I've got a whole bunch of it. And I think her banking is also, to me, such a green flag that she's always wanted to be a parent. And she specifically always knew, even pre-transition, even as a young person, that she really wanted to be a mother. But anyway, I'm curious to hear what else you have on your list, bud.
Okay, so one of the other things that's been happening, you might notice that I'm more energetic than I have been in recent episodes. So I may or may not have accidentally stopped taking my antidepressants at the start of the year. And was because I got really inconsistent with them. And sertraline, if you don't take it every day, you are just nauseous all the time.
I'm aware.
And so I was like, I'm just nauseous all the time. I'm not getting the benefit. I might as well stop. And then I had 3 months of depression.
That makes so much fucking sense. Just based on our previous conversation. Where you were just sounding really depressed. When you were sounding really shitty. You were sounding really down.
So last week we had an off-grid conversation where I was like, my life feels like it's falling apart. And that was because I was 1 week into getting back on sertraline.
Okay.
I hadn't
That'll do it.
slept for more than 4 hours a night in like a week
Oh my god.
because getting onto sertraline is just horrible.
It is. Getting off of it also sucks.
And when I did sleep, I was having like what I can only describe as like lucid nightmares.
Oh my god.
And then like nauseous all the time, not hungry, etc. Now I'm normal again. Literally this morning I was like, while I'm like listening to this YouTube video, I might as well do my dishes. And I was like, the sertraline. It's working.
I'm so happy that you figured out what was going on and that it was something that could be addressed. I could definitely tell that you're
Yeah.
feeling better and you're feeling more like yourself. I can sense a difference in how you're talking. I can sense a difference in how you're holding yourself. I can sense a difference in definitely your energy level. And I'm just really happy that it was just something as simple as your medication.
The motivation for getting back on, I think, was I took a test. I took a test in school, left the test being like, this was dog shit. This was absolutely terrible. I like didn't finish all the questions, and those that I did finish, I didn't feel super confident about. And it was like really messing with my sense of self-worth and like my
Oh,
like plans for the future. Because like part of my plan for the future is like I have to be good at school in order to do what I want to do.
that's also part of your identity.
Yeah. And like in order to get the things I want, I have to continue to be good at school.
True.
And so I was like, it's so Jover, like everything's terrible, nothing is worth
Oh.
anything.
Oh.
And then the professor, after one of our classes, I hate this professor, but that's another thing. Asked me like, what are your plans for next year? And I was like, I'm gonna stay here and do the like second year of masters here, blah blah blah. He was like, oh, what's the subject gonna be? It's not my subject, is it? And I was like, no, 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 no. He was like, oh, okay. And so my anxious little brain was like, okay, well, he saw that I failed this test. He's one of the only professors who like is terrible about me and my French level. And so he's been seeing me quote unquote struggle with French, which I don't feel like I have been, but from his perspective, maybe all semester. And then I failed his test and everything's over. And then I got the test back and I, in fact, got a perfect score on it.
Whoa.
And so I was like, maybe my sense of everything shouldn't be this fragile.
And that, I think, is a symptom of depression that I think people don't talk about as much.
Yeah.
It's not just being sad, it's also one thing I perceive as negative happened and now my life is over. And it's like catastrophizing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to say that your reaction wasn't real or valid to have, because if you go into a exam, you're not getting immediate feedback. And if your identity is connected with school and your future is connected with school, like if you're feeling like you're doing badly, you're allowed to be upset about that.
Yeah.
But I think when it goes over into mental illness is then being like, and it's over and I'm bad and I'm worthless. And what is your perception on that?
I think I agree. I also think like for me, it's so tied up with anxiety.
Definitely.
I definitely have depression and depression symptoms, and I have for most of my life. But the one that really gets me is the anxiety. I also like I got off it.
Yeah.
One of the other reasons is there's a much bigger casual drinking culture. Not like getting absolutely wasted all the time, but like the activity to do is go and get a beer.
Yeah.
Or a drink of some sort. And like when I'm on sertraline, this is not medical advice, but when I'm on sertraline, I can have one drink and then I am wasted.
White girl wasted.
Absolutely just trashed.
Yeah. And that's not what people would expect after one
Yeah.
drinks.
And so it makes the socializing a little bit harder, but I feel like now I can actually there'd be a socializing to make harder.
Exactly. And I'm so curious. It sounds like there's quite a different drinking culture there than there is in Boston, where here, what I'm seeing, and I think this is overall positive, is people really drifting away from alcohol as something that all socialization is organized around,
Yeah.
right? It's so much more common to see mocktails, to see way more non-alcoholic beers. And I've noticed a progression, maybe this is just the people I'm choosing to surround myself with, as I don't feel as much pressure to drink as I used to. It also could just be that I'm getting older. But I think just in general, especially in the queer community, I'm seeing a huge shift societally towards less focus on drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm curious, is that not happening in France? Is it different? It sounds like they're maybe a little more focused on alcohol.
So I wouldn't say it's focused on alcohol. What I would say is like people over the age of 19 don't ever really get white girl wasted
Okay, well, that's good.
because you're legal to drink once you're 18.
Yeah.
And like, I looked it up recently because I was curious. What is considered alcoholic level of drinking in France is 10 drinks a week
Wow.
because so many people every single day will have a glass of wine with dinner.
Which is interesting because here, I think daily drinking would meet the criteria.
Because it's so much more omnipresent, there's so much less of a focus around it. And so, like, students go out for drinks because drinks are cheap. It's like €3 for a beer. That's so much
Wow.
cheaper than going to.
A restaurant.
It's in the same way that, like, incels and people who are weird about sex in that way, like the purity people also, are thinking about sex way more than people who are having sex all the time.
Yeah.
So people in the US
Yes.
have this like restrictive association to alcohol, which leads to them thinking about it way more and building a lot more of culture
Yeah.
around it than even though it's more present
True.
here, it feels like less of the culture. Like it feels more like I can not engage with that because it's
Interesting.
less of a fixation, even though it's more omnipresent.
And it sounds like it's not as moralized.
Yeah.
There.
Mhm.
But it seems like just casual drinking is not as much of a moral issue as I do think it is here, where I think there's this health and wellness craze going on.
Well, yeah, people here are smoking cigarettes.
Cigarettes?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I can't remember the last time.
3 of my classmates smoke cigarettes.
What? Young people? Like,
Yeah.
what?
They're like definitely not more than 25.
Wow.
One
Whoa.
time, class was a couple minutes over, and the kid next to me, or like not next to me, but like one seat over, had taken out his thing and was rolling a cigarette, like rolling
In school? What the fuck? I'm sorry. That's kind of badass. Wow.
The health stuff is a thing here among certain people, but it's much less, I think, of a cultural thing.
Which I think is good and bad, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that smoking is bad. I can't remember the last time that I saw someone smoke a cigarette. Maybe more than a year ago, like just walking outside. And
I saw
obviously there's
4
no
people
smoking
this
inside,
morning.
which is crazy to me. And I mean, then the secondhand smoke.
I have twice been on a bus or a metro.
No, come
The
on.
person across from me was
Ew.
smoking.
Gross.
That's not counting vaping. That's just smoking.
No, I'm not counting vaping.
And then there've been a couple of times where the person next to me stank so much of cigarettes that I thought they were smoking until I looked over. And that's like once every couple of weeks
Yeah.
that happens. People here smoke. The whole city, everyone who comes and visits me is like, wow, the whole city smells like car exhaust, cigarette smoke, and piss. There's like a cloud over the city.
Ew, it's like a miasma
Yeah.
of like nicotine and piss.
Yeah.
Nicotine and Piss, my new band name.
Yeah. Speaking of gas here is literally $8 a gallon.
What?
I found this out because public transit ads, there's a new round of them that's like 1 liter equals €2. And I was like, that's crazy.
That's crazy. What? That's insane because when I was in Puerto Rico and I saw that gas was like 80 cents, that's absolutely insane. So the fact that it's more than twice that there is what? How is anyone driving a car?
They don't have another choice. If you need to get to work, you need to get to work. One of the people I go to school with, a lot of the people I go to school with normally drive, but they've been like dealing with like 2-3 hour public transits to get to and from school because of the situation in Iran. So gas has always been more expensive in Europe than the US because of a combination of, I think, regulation, etc., to discourage people from driving in cities, and also slightly lesser degree of benefit of imperial power. And then with the stuff with Russia, it has also gotten more expensive because there's pipelines through Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
So it is crazy.
Damn. It's just so interesting to me how people here, and I think this is more so in New England, are like, well, if shit goes down, I'm going to move to Europe because it's so great there and there's no problem.
Fucking do it then.
Then the people who actually do it move and they're like, and gas is $8 a gallon and there's serious problems and it smells like nicotine and piss.
If I ever move back to the States, I'm going to have to get a nicotine and piss scented candle.
It's just a little smell of home.
You don't even notice it anymore. People are like, it stinks over here. And I'm like, I guess.
I think that the piss will bother me, but I don't think the smoke smell will bother me because I grew up with a primary parent smoking around me, and while she was pregnant, by the way, LOL. And then I became a smoker as a young adult. I've quit since. I quit in 2019.
Cigarettes?
But I smoked for about 5 or 6 years. Yes, cigarettes.
Wild.
I just straight up smoked cigarettes. And it took me many tries to quit, and I did end up quitting for good in 2019. The smell of cigarette smoke, to me, it smells amazing. It smells nostalgic. It smells comforting.
We've gotten to a point where I don't really mind it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's really strong, I mind it.
Yeah.
Like, eye-wateringly strong, I mind it. But beyond that, I'm like, oh, the person in front of me is smoking. Awesome.
I think if it's on clothes or if someone smokes inside their house, I don't love it. But if someone blows a billow of cigarette smoke in my face, I'm like, you can't see me, but I'm wafting my hands towards my face.
Yeah.
And it's probably always going to be that way because nicotine is extremely addictive.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm still beefing with the Catholic Church. I'm still beefing with... you can bleep that. I'm beefing with...
Is also on our list.
Yes, I keep forgetting his name, but I'm still beefing with him too. And yeah, if there's any other beefs...
We can add Eric Adams just for fun.
Add Eric Adams.
He seems like he'd be fun to beef with.
Yeah, I kind of want to just start a beef with him just for shits and giggles. And, I think he would come on our podcast. So Eric Adams, if you're listening, come on to Good Sports Podcast. And if anyone wants to leave an ask, you can even leave an anonymous ask on Tumblr. Who should we add to our beef list?
Yeah. Do you want to do any shout-outs?
Shout out to Boston Public Library. I'm not there, haven't been there in a minute, but I do get a lot of audiobooks from there. It's awesome. And as has been recently discussed in an episode that's coming out soon when we're recording this, Greater Boston Legal Services. Donate to them if you have a couple bucks, or if you need legal representation for free, you can't afford it. You need a name change and you're trans. You need to be represented in like a employment dispute. They're someone you can reach out to. And again, that would be Greater Boston Legal Services, if you live in the Greater Boston area, obviously. Anyway, bye, friend.
Bye.
Good Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be alright. Thank you for listening to Good Sports Podcast. I've been Hayes.
And I've been Em, and this has continued to not be a sports podcast. Remember to follow us on Tumblr at goodsportspodcast.tumblr.com.
Our asks are open, so drop your opinions, and you may be featured on a future episode.
Our podcast art was done by Ellis. You can follow them on Instagram at digitalfuture.cat.
Love us, hate us, let us know by leaving a review and rating us 5 stars on your podcast app of choice.
And remember to always be a good sport.